Hello and welcome to another C3 Stingray video. Today we're going to be working on an 84 Corvette that's throwing some codes. And I just wanted to show a short video on how to check the codes. And actually I haven't even talked about this car. I got this car like 6 weeks ago, I think. It's a 4+3 84 Corvette. It's pretty nice. Let's take a look at it.
This is my 1984 Corvette 4+3 manual transmission. It's in pretty good shape. You can see that bumper's a little wavy, but these bumpers get a little wavy after 37 years of being in the sun. I'm still on the fence about those wheels. I like them, yet I don't like them. I'm not sure. My real reason for buying this is the 4+3 transmission. Now the interior is a little rough, and I've already ordered everything to replace the interior, so you might want to keep in touch with me because I'll probably be doing videos on replacing the interior in this later on. But this is a really fun car to drive, but the only problem is the engine light came on, so we need to check that out.
Okay, I think the throttle position sensor is bad, but we'll just go through the procedures on how to check it out and what to do and how to swap it out, and let's go.
Now I'm using the 1984 Corvette shop manual, which is invaluable for figuring out this kind of stuff, so we're using their procedures. I also have an ALDL Code analyzer that when I was at Mid-America Motors, I found this in the clearance bin for 20 bucks. These used to cost like 90 bucks, so I had to pick it up. It's a design of Gordon Killebrew, who was like the master of C4 Corvettes and even ran a school at one time. I don't even think you can buy this anymore, but you can still get the book at Mid-America Motors for like 12 bucks or 11 bucks or something, but with the internet, I'm not even sure why you would still need this. Now this is your ALDL, the assembly line communications link, which should be mounted under your dash. Mine is just kind of hanging under the dash. Now this is a 12-pin ALDL, which was in the 1984 to 1993 Corvette. Now you'll need to jump pins A and B with a wire or a paper clip in order to ground it out to read your codes. I used to use a wire. I thought it was easier. As you can see in this diagram, there's A and B. Just simply put a paper clip or a wire. Or if you have your ALDL Code analyzer like I do, you just simply plug it in and set your dials to whatever your car you're working on. Now this only applies after 93. In 94 they went to a 16-pin ALDL, so this will not work with that. Now with your jumper wire in place or your ALDL Code analyzer set up, simply turn your ignition on. Do not start the car, just turn it to the on position. Then look to where your engine light would be, and it will begin flashing. There's a 1 and a 2. It will do this 3 times. It's the number 12. It doesn't mean anything. It's the beginning and end of the process. Now here comes the codes. It's a 2 and a 1. So it's a 21. It will do this 3 times, and then it will go into the next code if there are more codes after which. Let's see, now we're back to the 12. That means we're at the end of the process, so the 12 will flash 3 times, and that will be the end of that. So we need to go to our codes and figure out what a 21 is. Now code 21 is the throttle position sensor circuit, high voltage high. So we need to test the throttle position sensor. After you've read the codes, unplug your jumper wire or your ALDL Code analyzer before going to the next step. You're going to have to take off your air cleaner, the 2 knobs on top to take the top cover off. And there will be 4 10mm bolts that hold the 2 collars down that actually hold the whole air cleaner down onto the crossfire. Now there's a pipe on the driver's side, another hose on the passenger side, and there'll be a vacuum line on the back of the crossfire air cleaner. That's the other hose. As you can see, here's the throttle position sensor. Now this one's already messed up because the clip is broke on the plug-in, and that could be an issue. Might have to replace that plug. But in order to test this, we need to unplug this and leave it unplugged. And then we need to turn off the battery or disconnect the battery. I have a battery kill switch, so I just turn mine off, and it needs to be off for 10 seconds or more. I usually do it for a few minutes, but that'll clear the codes. You want to clear the codes for this next test. So here I am turning the battery back on. You need to reconnect your battery. Now with the TPS unplugged, let's start the car and wait for the engine light to come on, which it came on really fast here. Once that engine light comes on, turn the car back off and get your jumper wire or your ALDL code analyzer and plug it back in, and we're going to read the codes another time. So turn your ignition back to on and let's start the process. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. We've got the 12 that flashes 3 times, and let's see what the new code is. If it is a new code, we have a 2 and a 2. So now the code is 22 instead of 21. So let's go back to the codes and see what that is. Code 22 is throttle position sensor voltage low instead of voltage high as it was with the 21. Now we're going to go back out and we're going to put a test light. Now put the test light on the power on your battery and then check the ground wire to see if your ground is good. You see there's an A, B, and C wire. The A wire is the black wire, that's your ground. So you want to test that to see if the ground is good. As you can see that it is lit up, so we know the ground is good. So that means the TPS is no good. So it's time to replace that TPS. Now to remove the TPS, there are 2 T25 torque screws on there, and that's it. It comes off pretty easy. Now the one that's on here is an aftermarket TPS, and I called the parts store and they cost about $70 for an aftermarket one, but I started looking around my garage and I actually found an old Crossfire setup I had in my garage and the TPS was still on it. So I took the original ALDL one that was on that. I know it's 37 years old, but I actually feel safer using this ALDL one that's 37 years old. I feel better using that than I do buying another aftermarket one, because the aftermarket stuff is just crap. I don't know what else to say. So I'm putting in this used one, and we're going to set that in there. You want to make sure that little arm is against there. It pushes against it. Put your 2 T25s back in. Now there's little washers there. They're kind of like flat edges. You'll see it when you're putting it in. They kind of push against the sides. See how it's curved there, and it's kind of shaped like the TPS, and it holds it in place. Now you don't want to tighten this down. You want to snug it down. You want it snug enough where you can move the TPS. Now you're going to need to set up a voltage meter to set up your TPS. Now these wires have been cut before, so I'm going to untape them. But a lot of people use a harness to test this, or you can set up your own jumper wires. What you have to do is put a voltage meter on the A and B wire going to the TPS. Now these wires here they've already been, you just got to skin it a little bit so you can see some wires you can hook your alligator clips to. And you want to hook them to the A and B wire and to the voltage meter so you can set the TPS. Now with your ignition on, you need to be at 0.525. And remember, your ignition has to be on. To change that, you move this up and down. As you can see, the voltage changes, but you want to be at 525 when it's at idle. Now I know a lot of people think I'm crazy for cutting the actual wires, and you probably should not do that, but mine were already cut, so I just went ahead, and I'm probably going to have to change this plug anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But you may want to get the actual voltage harness, which is around $30, or you can rig up some jumper wires of your own and set up in there, but since my wires are already cut, I just went ahead and took advantage of it. And once you get set at the 525, you want to just tighten that down. And you have retaped the wires. I taped them individually and then grouped them together. They should be fine. Now let's go start the car and see what happens. What? No engine light? I think we've solved the problem. Now you just need to put your air cleaner back together. Make sure you put that vacuum hose on the back, the one hose on the passenger side, and the pipe on the driver's side before you tighten down the 4 10mm bolts that hold down the whole air cleaner. Now you just need the air cleaner itself and then the cover with the 2 retaining nuts. Now I'm just going to take it for a little test drive. See, I have my phone down there on the column, using it as a speedometer because I need to fix the cluster on this too, because it works, it's just sun fading. That'll be another video, so you might as well go ahead and subscribe to this channel. There's going to be a lot of videos on this guy. I don't know if you can tell, there's a big difference from one time I was in the low 4 gears and then I flipped that switch to go into overdrive. That's what that light that came on the dash. It's the overdrive light. Big difference between those low gears and the high gears.
Well, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to check out my other how-to videos, as well as my 68 Corvette history video. 69 Corvette history video should be up pretty soon. And lots of other stuff. Please go to the website at c3stingray.com for new and used C3 Corvette parts and C4 Corvette parts. And also, that manual I was talking about, I have the PDF of the 84 Corvette manual and the 84 electrical troubleshooting manual. They're both on my website. They're PDFs, free to download. The link will be down under this video. Click on that. All I ask is, in return, maybe you subscribe to this channel, help me out, and you can have them for free. All right, I guess that's it. I don't know what else to say. So I'll see you on the road. Thanks for watching.